Amoeba reproduces asexually by binary fission. Binary fission is a type of asexual reproduction in which the fully grown parent cell splits into two halves, producing two new daughter cells. At the time of binary fission, the amoeba withdraws pseudopodia and becomes spherical in shape. The nucleus splits longitudinally and divides into two daughter nuclei. These daughter nuclei move towards opposite poles. This is followed by the elongation of the parent cell. A fissure appears in the middle of the cytoplasm between the two daughter nuclei, dividing the cells into two equal halves. Thus, two daughter amoebae are produced from a single parent. One of them has the original contractile vacuole, while the other develops a new one. The entire process of binary fission is completed in less than half an hour, but this time varies with temperature.
When Plasmodium is ready to divide, what you will find is that it will split simultaneously into more than two. I've just shown 5 as an example over here, but it can split into more than two offsprings, and as a result, eventually more than two copies or more than two offsprings are made over here. So this is another way in which we can classify fission. We can say one kind of fission is where two offsprings are formed. We call this binary fission. Binary fission. And what do you think we'll call this one? Well, since more than two offsprings are formed, we'll call this multiple fission because multiple offsprings are formed. This is called multiple fission. And you can guess now, by multiple fission, that organism can spread rapidly. And in fact, Plasmodium is the one that causes malaria inside us. So let me just write that down as well. Okay, let me use a different color. Alright, so Plasmodium is responsible for causing the disease malaria. And since we're talking about disease, Leishmania is responsible for causing the disease called Kala Azar. And if you're wondering suddenly why am I talking about diseases, that's because your exams will ask you these questions. They'll ask you what causes malaria, or what causes Kala Azar, or they'll ask you what disease Leishmania causes, or what disease Plasmodium causes. So just for that sake, I thought I should mention this. So that pretty much wraps up our fission. So to quickly summarize, fission is basically cell division. We call it as reproduction for unicellular organisms because in unicellular organisms, if a cell divides, then we have brand new individuals. We can classify them into two kinds. Binary fission is the one where we get two offsprings. Multiple fission is the one where we get multiple offsprings. That's one way to classify fission. Another way to classify fission is based on which orientation, along which axis it undergoes fission. One way, some unicellular organisms undergo fission in any axis, whereas in some other cases they will undergo fission along a fixed axis.
If you cut a planarian in half between its head and tail, the tail half grows a head and the head half grows a tail. If you cut it lengthwise, the two halves grow new second halves.
Hydra. Hydra is one of the simplest sedentary multicellular freshwater organism about 1 centimeter long. It has a tubular body with a basal disc for attachment and a free distal or oral end-bearing mouth and circlet of tentacles. Hydra reproduces asexually by budding. At the time of asexual reproduction, small buds appear on the body wall. As the bud elongates, a mouth opens at its free anterior end, followed by the development of tentacles at the base of the oral region. The newly developed hydra detaches from the parent body and fixes on a substratum.
external fertilization. In many animals, fertilization takes place outside the body of the female. In these animals, fertilization takes place in water. Let us find out how this happens. During spring or rainy season, frogs and toads move to ponds and slow-flowing streams. When the male and female come together in water, the female lays hundreds of eggs. Unlike hen's egg, frog's egg is not covered by a shell, and it is comparatively very delicate. A layer of jelly holds the eggs together and provides protection to the eggs. As the eggs are laid, the male deposits sperms over them. Each sperm swims randomly in water with the help of its long tail. The sperms come in contact with the eggs. This results in fertilization. This type of fertilization, in which the fusion of a male and a female gamete takes place outside the body of the female, is called external fertilization. It is very common in aquatic animals such as fish, starfish, etc. Internal fertilization. During fertilization, the nuclei of the sperm and the egg fuse to form a single nucleus. This results in the formation of a fertilized egg or zygote. The zygote is the beginning of a new individual. The process of fertilization is the meeting of an egg cell from the mother and a sperm cell from the father. So, the new individual inherits some characteristics from the mother and some from the father. Fertilization, which takes place inside the female body, is called internal fertilization. Internal fertilization occurs in many animals, including humans, cows, dogs, and hens.